Hello, Principles of Engineering. I'm so glad that you're here this year. I'm so glad to be able to teach this to you. Um, I am really excited because Principles of Engineering has always been one of my favorite courses. Now, you're listening to this and watching this video for a number of reasons. I'm not going to be able to be as hands-on this year and as directed with the teaching as I would normally like to have been. And that's for a few reasons. Number one, we're actually doing a new way of teaching Principles of Engineering than we've done sometimes in the past. And I'm excited for this because what it means is you're in the classroom with some different people, and it means that we've opened up a number of periods for POE than we would have been able to in the past. So we're teaching POE alongside other courses. So you're in the room here with potentially some introduction to engineering design folks, potentially some game theory and design folks, and there'll be some professional certification people in here, kind of all intermingling. I'm calling this my one-room schoolhouse concept of teaching. And I've been working on this plan and designing this way of instruction for a number of years. And under different circumstances, this would be a very exciting thing and give us a lot of opportunity for intermingling and working together. And I still anticipate some of that happening this year. So that's one reason why this looks a little different than it might otherwise look. Of course, another reason is the elephant in the room, which is our COVID-19 pandemic situation. And because of that, we're going to segregate a little bit more perhaps this year than I would like for us to. We'll have a little less team building opportunities, a little less group participation opportunities, a little bit more individual, perhaps more introspection, more one-on-one kind of opportunities. So you're watching this video because I'm right now going through the same presentation with likely introduction to engineering design or game theory and design. And I wanted you to have an opportunity to hear these things from me in a different way. As a bonus, of course, you get to see me without a mask on, and they don't. So we'll take that as it may be. So I'm going to go through this, some of this relatively quickly because if you're taking Principles of Engineering, you've had me before, and you'll know some of this information, and I can skip through a few things here as well. So let's go ahead and look at what this year will look like for you, what you can expect, and some of the really exciting things that I do want to show you. So let's go ahead and make me smaller and move forward through here. Okay, so who am I? You guys know me. Like I said, you've had me before if you're taking this class. So you know who I am. You know a few things about me. So I'll move through this relatively quickly. I grew up here in Hamburg. I've been in the Air Force, Penn State, and Lehigh University are the schools that I graduated from as well. And I enjoy games, reading, technology. I am very much a person who enjoys technology. I enjoy seeking the newest technology. I enjoy trying new things. I am nearly a person who enjoys change for change's sake. A lot of people are scared of change, whereas I'm a person who appreciates change in many ways. And I like seeking change. I like trying new things in my life. It's a thing that I really do appreciate, trying new things. And coffee. You'll always find me with coffee. This year might look a little different because, of course, I have a mask on, so I'll have to find opportunities to try my coffee, perhaps when people aren't around. This is my family, my wife and my daughter. My daughter just turned 4 this year. Her name is Julia. My wife is Mrs. King. If you've had her for Spanish, she's taught Spanish now at every level, and she is now our Spanish 1 teacher and our ESL teacher here at the high school. My love of flying and my love of planes has always driven so much of what I've done. I became an engineer, I became a technician, I became a person who designs things and works on things specifically because of how much I've always enjoyed airplanes and flying, and the idea of people doing things that they shouldn't otherwise be able to do, but they can do them because of how hard they've tried and how much they've fought to do something a little different. So our courses this year, we have Game Theory and Design, Introduction to Engineering Design, Principles of Engineering, and a Professional Certification course. So our path has changed a little bit. Game Theory and Design, Introduction to Engineering Design are our 2 introduction level courses. They're equal at level. You can take either as a ninth grader or at any other year you'd like to take them. They're both introduction level courses focused on slightly different things. Introduction to Engineering Design is likely a course you've taken, introducing you to how designing objects and items and parts works, takes you through the process of design and how to iterate upon design, and provides you with a lot of tools to design things. Lots of 3D modeling in that class. Game Theory and Design takes students through more of iterative design in a cerebral sense, making you think about how people think and why do they think the way that they think. Why do people play games, and how does game theory come into play on a larger sense? And how can gamifying things have an impact on our lives? Principles of Engineering is a class that you're in right now, where you'll get a chance to apply your engineering skills on a larger scale and create larger and more interesting and different objects and projects. And Professional Certification is a class which some of you may also be taking, which will give you an opportunity to become certified in a specific software of your choice. You also have a Professional Field Experience, which is an opportunity for you to connect with employers outside of our school, which will give you a chance to act like an engineer and do an engineer's job while you're still here in school. So our rules, you've experienced this before, you're familiar with these things. I expect you to be here because you want to create and make new things and be positive. I expect you to stay on task while you're here, have a purpose, have a goal. Keep it clean. If you make a mess, clean it up. There will be opportunities here for you to make a mess and for you to get messy, especially this year more than any, because of the number of people in the classroom, how spread apart you'll be, and the number of different things going on. I'll need you to keep your area clean and clean up after yourself. Keep it intact. You'll be working with a lot of different technology this year in a lot of different ways. And I need you to keep your things intact and keep my things safe, and just make sure that the things that you're using are still there for people in the future. And keep it yours. Keep your work yours. Don't log into somebody else's equipment. Don't log into somebody else's accounts. Do your work for you. Our basic courtesies: the bathroom and the nurse. We're only going to be allowed to let one person leave for the bathroom at a time this year, and you'll take a token. I haven't quite decided what it is. It'll be a thing that you'll carry with you when you leave. You bring it back. You're only going to be allowed to have one person out of the bathroom at a time. We'll have to call the nurse, as we have for the last few years here, to make sure you may leave to go to the nurse before you go there. Don't line up at my door. More so this year than ever, I do not want anyone lining up at my door when it's time to leave the room. You'll stay in your seat and you'll continue to do your work until it's time to leave. We don't want anybody bunching up or lining up at the door. This year, our 9th and 10th graders will leave 3 minutes early before the end of the period. I will expect, if you are in 9th and 10th grade, I need you to help me, because I am the kind of teacher who works right up to the bell. We always have so much to do in these classes. And I get distracted with that, and I'm going to do my best this year to keep an eye on that time and get our 9th and 10th graders out 3 minutes early. But I also need you to help me with that as well. If it's time for you to leave, tell me and leave 3 minutes early if you're in 9th and 10th grade. If you're in 9th and 10th grade and you arrive at my classroom, wait outside the door until the bell rings and the 11th and 12th graders leave. You'll be expected to line up in the hallway along the wall and wait for those people to leave and be gone before you may enter the room. We need to observe these basic courtesies this year to help everyone to be safe. There are seating charts. You have specific seats you're being asked to sit in. In POE, I'm giving you a little bit of levity with that this year because you do have a lot of different projects, but you are being asked to sit in the seats that you're in, right there along that back wall there. I need you to try to stay in your space. Depending on how large the class is that you are a part of, you might have some flexibility with different workspaces depending on what you're working on. Every class is going to be a little bit different with that this year. My cell phone policy is essentially a zero tolerance policy. Unless I'm asking you to take your cell phone out and use it specifically for a project, or I'm showing you something to do with your cell phone, you are to leave your cell phone away. It'd be best for you not to even have it here in the classroom. but you are to leave it away. If I have to tell you more than once to keep it away, it is gone. I will have it confiscated and you'll have to take it down to Mr. Buggy's office. I do not have a tolerance for cell phones in the classroom, and they do not have a place here. You require materials. An engineering notebook is typically something that we do in my classroom. I'm doing something a little bit different this year with IED, and for POE, if you have an engineering notebook that you used in the past in my classroom, you're welcome to reuse it. If you don't, we're going to work this year to be flexible with you keeping an engineering notebook as we move forward. I'll talk to you a little bit more about that later on. You do need a class notebook this year and a place where you can take notes and keep track of what you're doing. This just needs to be a binder with paper in it, notebook paper where you can write down notes and keep track of what you're doing in the class. Everyone needs to have a pen and a pencil every day. You need both, and you will always need both in my class every day, both a pen and a pencil. There are no locker visits, and this is always the case in my classroom because of how far we are from the rest of the building, but more so this year than ever, you may not leave my class to go to the locker. You're only ever able in this particular year to go to the locker during advisory, your homeroom in the morning, and for flex at the end of the day. No one's allowed to go to the locker otherwise. You got to wear your mask. Every day, all of us will always be wearing our masks in this classroom. As large as my classroom is, my classroom does not permit 6 feet of social distancing space between people. And you will all wear your mask all day. I'm wearing mine all day, every day, and you will wear yours all day, every day, especially in my classroom. If you need a mask break, you will be permitted to step into the hallway and take your mask off, and that will be a maximum of 10 minutes, and that is state policy. That's not even our school's policy. Creating an attendance. This is somewhat flexible, and it may be required to be somewhat flexible this year because of the things that we are doing. But my goal is and always has been no traditional homework. I don't typically send homework home. Depending on how things move forward this year, that may have to change, but I have the goal of not sending traditional homework home. And I'm going to try to stick to that. And we'll see how things go. If I can stick to that, or if it's going to be sometimes where I have to send things home, it really just depends on how things go. All assignments have a due date, and your assignments will be assigned to you through Schoology. You will know what they are, and you'll know when they're due. If you turn something in late, the maximum grade you can earn is a C. If the assignment has points assigned to it of 50, the maximum grade you could get would be 40 points, and I'll take off points from there based on your quality of work that you've given me. I will always accept late work, and I will always grade it that way. If you are absent, typically I will grant you the days you were out +1 to turn in work. This year, we're going to be very flexible with that. We expect absences, and we expect you, if you are not feeling well, to stay home. So please do so. And there's going to be lots of flexibility for absences this year. If you're absent, we'll work with you to get your work made up. If you can get work done while you're home, if you're not that sick, but you have the opportunity to get work done while you're at home, please do so. Please email me. I have my email on my phone. I have my email on my laptop. I have my email on my desktop. I will always get email. I'll always respond to you. I highly recommend you all get the Schoology app for your phones so you can check work on there. I'm going to be as flexible as I possibly can be this year with people who need help and extra time to get assignments done, especially due to absences. And we can give you extensions before the due date. If you know you're not going to get your work done on time, please come speak to me before the due date, and I will give you an extension. I've always had that policy. I have it this year as well. All right. Our equipment. Laptops are assigned per pod. I do not have assigned numbers this year, so you'll find at each group of tables there are 4 laptops. Your laptops that you'll be using in POE are over on the counter. They're on the edge of the counter, and you can use them that way. If there are not enough for all POE students who are at the counter, we can use extra laptops from pods that are close by that are not being used by IED students. Local printer, the best printer to use is in the library. There also are printers in the room right down the hall. You can print from there. I typically will not have you print while you're in the classroom, however. And the 3D printers are over on the counter, and you'll have the opportunity to use those this year as well if it comes up for your projects. We will use Schoology this year. You will use Schoology for all of your projects. Everything that you do will be assigned to you through Schoology. All of your resources will be provided to you through Schoology. Schoology will be your home base. Know how to get to Schoology. Know how to log into Schoology. Know what you're being asked to do. Check Schoology regularly and know what's being done on Schoology. I will be using YouTube, my personal YouTube channel, to provide you with recorded lessons. If you have lessons that you're being asked to do, and I'm going to record a lesson like this one, I will put it up on my YouTube channel. Now, I may provide you with a link through Schoology, but I will also be putting everything up on YouTube, and I will have specific playlists for each course. So I'm going to have a link on Schoology where I'm going to ask you to go and subscribe to my YouTube channel. I ask everyone to please subscribe to my YouTube channel. This is not a personal YouTube channel, and I'm not putting up things on there. I'm not monetizing this. It has nothing to do with any of that. I'm asking you to subscribe to my work YouTube channel specifically because I'm going to be putting up all of our content that we need for class on there. When I record lessons, when I record information that I need you to know, all those videos will be going up on my YouTube channel. So you'll have access to them all in one place. Again, I will post links on Schoology as well, but I need you to have access to them through YouTube too. And our Project Lead the Way logins, we're going to go ahead and log into that as well. I'm going to show you how to do that too. All right, preparation for dealing with COVID-19 in this classroom. Here's the things that I want you to know and be prepared to do. This year can change at any time. At any time, we can go from being in class on a Wednesday to being at home on a Thursday. That could be as a whole school, that could be as an individual class, that could be as an individual person. And we all need to be prepared for those circumstances at all times. So we need to make sure that we don't make that an anxiety-inducing circumstance, that we make that a circumstance that we are all prepared for and we know what we're going to do. And we know what it takes for us to be prepared to learn under those circumstances. So number one, take everything home. If you know that you might need something, if you think it might be helpful for you to have it at home. Don't need to come back to school to get something. Have it at home already. I can't tell you the number of students who didn't have what they needed in the spring because they left it at school over the weekend because they didn't know we were going to get shut down. Assume we're going to get shut down. Assume that it might happen and be prepared for it. Test your home internet. If you know you have quality internet, know how good it is. Test it. Test YouTube videos. Test Zoom. Test video downloading. Download videos and see how quick you can download a video and see how well it works. Test Schoology. Test all the different things that we use in class. Test it all at home and see how well it works. If you know you don't have quality internet, see what you are able to do. Are you able to watch YouTube at home? Are you able to do Zoom at home? Can you do Zoom but not with video? Can you do, what are you able to do at home? What works well? What doesn't work well? Know your limitations. If you know that your internet at home is bad and you struggle, tell us. We can get you some resources to help you with that. We need to know where you are, and you need to know where you are so you know what you can use as far as resources if we're not here. Figure out where you would work in your house. Try to find a place in your house that would be quiet, that would be contained, that could be yours, that would have a quiet background that isn't covered in all kinds of stuff. Find a place that's not you sitting on your bed, covered in your clothes. Some place that's not your bed. It's a quiet place that you can sit and work. Not everybody has the same kind of opportunities as everybody else does. I've had to reconfigure my home this year to set up a place where I could work in my basement to make this functional. Everybody needs to consider what might work best for them, but find out if you have somewhere in your house that you could work and be sitting in front of a computer all day if it came to that, and know what would work best for you. Ask me ahead of time for materials and help. Know what you might need. And think ahead and prepare for that. If you need something, if you need materials, ask me for it. I will give you whatever I can. Wash your hands all the time. There's a sink in my classroom with soap and paper towels. Wash your hands all the time. I'm going to be asking most of you to wash your hands every day in my classroom because we will be sharing materials. We will have things that you will have to use in this classroom. We will have some things that have to be done in groups that we cannot avoid. So I'm going to ask you every day when you come in here to please wash your hands all the time. Please be considerate of others. Think about what circumstances others are in. Don't criticize, don't ridicule, don't put other people down. Everybody is having a difficult time with this at different levels. So please be considerate and stay home. If you're sick, stay home. We will help you. We will work with you and make this easier. Lastly, know where to access our class materials. If you're not sure where something is, ask as soon as you can. All right, let's go ahead to our class's specific information. All right, overview of our class. We have my PLTW. Let me take you there to our Project Lead the Way page for this class. And I am hoping that this works. And you can see this. Okay, so this is the Project Lead the Way page for this course. And this is our landing page. You can scroll through here. You'll see at the very top, there is a link for distance learning opportunities. Project Lead the Way did create distance learning opportunities for this year, and we will access those when the time comes. If we need to, we will use those, and I will tell you where to go, and I will tell you what to click on. We are creating different learning pathways, and I started using Principles of Engineering this way last year. So we're all going to access Unit 1, Energy and Power together. This is the first unit, and we're all going to go through this together. But then after we complete Unit 1 together, we are all going to split up, and you're going to decide what interests you specifically about Principles of Engineering. And you're going to have opportunities to learn differently. If you are interested in bridges and building structures and how structures are held up and what the forces at work upon structures are and how they interact with each other, we'll be sending you to materials and structures. You'll also be doing materials testing in that unit. If you're interested in electricity, electronics, how electrical circuits are built, how electricity is harnessed, how it is used, you'll be getting to the second part of Unit 1 here, where we'll be doing energy applications, energy and power, energy sources, etc. And you'll be completing those lessons. And if you're interested in programming, creating programming circuits, creating robots, and all of that, you'll get into control systems and you'll learn the things about control systems here. And so one of the reasons that we did this was because Principles of Engineering is a very broad class, but has a lot of information. And few people are able to actually get through all of this information in 1 year. And I found that few people are interested in everything Principles of Engineering has to offer. So after we get through the initial components of Unit 1 together, what I'll do is I'll go through and introduce you to each of the different pathways you have to go get into, and then each of you will choose what you want to learn. And then that'll take us through, depending on how this year goes, much of the middle part of the year. And then that'll take us probably up until, say, March or so. And once you're done with your pathway, we're all going to come back together and complete Unit 4 together, kinematics, the study of kinematics, and we'll do that as a closing unit together. So that's kind of a quick overview of what the year will look like for us. This year, we will have more of a focus on individual learning than POE has had in the past. POE has typically been very much a group work-based class, and I'm going to be breaking it down this year to be more focused on individual learning because I don't want to push us into too much group stuff. I don't want too much hands-on together in groups, more than we have to. All right. My background and inspiration, you guys know most of this stuff. You've already been with me before, so you can just take a quick look at this slide. None of this stuff is a surprise to you if you've had me before. So our course-specific expectations. Wash your hands, wash your hands, wash your hands. And be a self-starter. I'm going to expect a lot from you this year. More than any other year, I'm going to expect you to know what you'd want to get out of this course and put into it what you want to get out of it. I'm going to expect you to know where to find your information and to have a passion for something. early on in the course, I want you to develop some understandings of what you like and what you want to do, and put into the course that desire, and have a passion to accomplish something this year. And don't be afraid to ask for help. I'm not necessarily always going to come to you and say, do you want help? Do you want help? Do you want help? Do you want help? But I'm always going to be here for you when you do want help. So please don't be afraid to ask me for help this year. And back to this one. All right. So our COVID-19 concern specifically to this class: wash your hands. Wash your hands. Wash your hands. You'll have less attention from me this year than you might otherwise have because of the things that are going on, because of social distancing, because of keeping our distance from each other, because of the circumstances with the other courses going on at the same time. You're going to have less attention specifically from me, but you'll always have access to me, and I'll always be here to help you with the different things. I usually won't be talking to you specifically when I'm standing in front of the room. You will have more videos like this. I will often produce these for you to show you what I want you to do, but you'll have less direct instruction from me when I'm standing in front of the classroom. And I'll need you to seek me out when you need me. All right, a tour of our resources. Let me show you what we have for you here. Our Schoology page. This is Schoology. Right now, there's nothing sitting here under our materials. You're going to have all the materials that I want you to use available here under our Schoology page. As soon as you come, you're going to have materials right here in this section. You're going to have access to our engineering formula sheets. You'll have links to our YouTube page. You'll have each of our units will have folders here showing you each of the different things that you're learning. We'll have our learning pathways here walking you through all of that. So our Schoology page is going to be our home base, and everything you need is going to be listed right here. I'm going to put you in groups eventually based on your learning pathways, and your upcoming assignments for those groups will all be shown over here under upcoming. So you'll know what's coming up for you, what you need to accomplish, and what's expected of you. Your grades will be posted in Schoology and then also synced to your grade book that you use for school as well. So you'll have access to all of that information too. So that's Schoology. We've already shown you our project lead the way under my.pltw.org. And if you have a login to this from before, it should work, but I'm also going to provide you with all that information this year. Once we get our first couple of days under our belt here, I'll get you logged into my.pltw. I'll make sure your logins work and you have access to your information. This system has been very slow today. As you can see, it's not loading, and it probably won't, but this will be your home base for a lot of your learning materials specifically, and you'll get those through here. Okay. Physical resources in the room. There are a lot of physical resources in this room. We have building materials of all kinds. We have robotics kits that you'll be using extensively. We have electronics kits that you'll be using extensively. We have a lot of physical resources in this room that you'll be able to use. And all you have to do is ask. If you need something and you don't know where it is, please ask me. And as I said, that's going to be a very common theme this year. Just ask for help. I'm here regardless of what you need. And lastly, I want to show you Zoom. Zoom is going to be our video conferencing application of choice this year for if we are not here, if we are not able to be here together. And there could be lots of different reasons for that. It could be the whole school shut down and we're all operating virtually. What's that look like? We're going to have a schedule of events. We're going to have a schedule throughout the day, or period 1 meets at this time, period 2 meets at this time, period 3 meets at this time. And I'm going to have that on Schoology to show you. It could be that you are not here for some reason. You have to be at home for a period of time. You're quarantined or something, and you need to check in with me, and we'll use Zoom for that as well. Zoom is very flexible and provides us with lots of flexibility in how we meet and when. So I'm going to show you here if I grab a new meeting here. Let's see if it'll let me pick my camera. It's not letting me pick my camera for some reason, and that's okay. But this is Zoom, and we'll use this. I'm going to give you options for lots of different ways to interact in Zoom as well. You have reactions where you can react, thumbs up or clapping, showing me ways that you can show me how you feel about something without having to actually speak. There's a chat that you can chat in with Zoom. And there are also reactions that you can do over here. I could ask everybody, how do you feel about this? Do you want to do this, or do you want to do that? And you can actually react over here as well. So Zoom is going to be our video conferencing application of choice, and we're going to get comfortable with it. We're going to use it. And if and when we go to the point where we all have to be using Zoom every day, we'll be spending some time getting comfortable with how this works, what it looks like, and what's expected of you using this application. So if you've not used Zoom before and you have questions about what's expected of you using Zoom, please ask. Oh, and the reason it's not letting me share my video is because I'm already using the camera. You can't use a camera for two things at once. So look at that. I figured it out. All right, so let's go ahead and end this here. All right, so that's all of our resources here. What's next? You've got a first day survey. It's as an assignment on Schoology already assigned to you, due probably in the next couple of days here, depending on when you're watching this and how long this took. Please take that first day survey. It will give me some information about your circumstances and where you're at and what to expect from you. Please go ahead and take that. And then within this next first week here, we're going to start doing Unit 1 together. Again, Unit 1 is mechanisms, energy, power. It's going to give you an opportunity to do some building and testing and creating with your hands so that you can get a feel for how the world works and get some baseline, so you all have a baseline understanding together of these simple machines and mechanisms that we can work from as we move forward into our learning pathways. So thank you for spending this time with me today, and thank you for walking through this. Thank you for being flexible. Thank you for being willing to work together to make this easier.